Harrington's body parts for, oh, it says recording. Cool. To sell his body parts for money so that they can.
Harrington said he was?
No, I mean, I was telling the higher ups there at Gas that they should harvest his organs and sell them. And then that way they can make the chat better. So you can actually possibly see shit instead of when there's LOSs on. And then you got two idiots in there fighting for some stupid reason. And then the whole rest of it's just flying on past. Oh, it's a little close, don't it? Hurts, don't it, as they say.
No, I know.
Your podcast. Right?
No, I don't care. I don't care about that at all. It's not important.
All right. So it's an interview show.
No, like the point was supposed to be like how, which I think we've talked about it before, like the comedians.
We did, but not recorded.
All right.
And now here it is being recorded for posterity.
Oh no, wait. Okay, let me.
Okay.
You said something about the one live show you went to was Bobcat Goldthwait.
That's correct. And that was
it wasn't necessarily
2012. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been to comedy shows that my friend was at. My friend I was telling you about, he's been a stand-up since we were in high school. His name's Rob Ruthenberg. And what he does in the meantime is he's a radio DJ. And he was married for a while, and then he bust up, then got up with this Christian lady and moved out of town, moved back. And I see him all the time, and we're like, oh, man, we should call each other and catch up. And then, of course, we never do because we're just old and white and stupid, and, what have you. But he's a funny guy. And he actually got, when Doug Stanhope came here, I think it was like 2015, he had a picture of him outside smoking a cigarette with Doug Stanhope,
That's awesome.
And, but yeah, the first actual stand-up I saw was Bobcat Goldthwait, and I'm a huge fan of his movies. And
well, I was going to ask you about that because, I was going to ask you, because did you watch Bobcat on Rogan right before?
I
and it
haven't,
was like,
no.
You haven't
I tend
watched
to veer away from
Lucky?
those. I tend to veer away from the Rogan podcast because they're 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And when I was working tree service before, I barely had enough time to come home and sleep because we'd be out there at the crack of dawn, and then we'd be out there until the sun went down.
You did tree service?
Oh, yeah, for about 3 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's why I got out of it. No.
Did you climb up into the trees?
No, I don't. I would just do the ground maintenance. I'd operate this thing called a dingo, which is kind of like it's like an ATV vehicle that can pick up huge things. And I've got a picture of it on my Instagram. If you ever get a chance to check it out, it's where I actually drove it up to a gas pump and just started filling it. And but no, I would be like the guy who ran all the wood to the landfill, or go get stuff that's needing got for this so we can continue to do that. My boss man was the one who would go up in the bucket, and then we had another guy who was a climber. We actually had a couple of them. But, the ground part is the part that, where you're managing the flow through of trees coming down. The only problem with me doing that was I'm horribly, horribly allergic to poison ivy. So if we'd spot anybody, they'd be like, all right, Max, don't come over here. Just stay the fuck away from here. Because I get a case of it, I'd be out for like 2 fucking weeks because it just destroys me. I'm super allergic to it.
That shit's bad.
Well, that, and it was just some of the tree cutting practices that my boss was doing, that he was learning some bad, tactics from a younger man who, after I quit 3 weeks later, he got catapulted 40 feet out of his own bucket truck and like crushed his pelvis. And even though he owned his own tree service, they were still raising funds for his medical bills because he got fucked up so bad. And I called him, man, because he likes to go up there and do that cowboy shit,
Yeah.
Stepping up on the bucket, has unhooked the harness so he can reach out to get one thing, or just all kinds of crazy shit. I was like, man, if that's gonna be my life up there, fuck that shit. But no, the 3-hour podcast, I used to be able to do it when I first started listening to podcasts. So I listened to that Pete Holmes one.
Ugh.
You've never heard of Pete Holmes' podcast?
I know who Pete Holmes is.
And you don't like
He
him?
was definitely not around.
He's not around. What are you talking about?
He wasn't around before Rogan. I'm talking about
No, it's not
Bobcat
about clout.
Goldthwait and Barry Crimmins and the Call Me Lucky and that kind of shit. Not.
No, and when
you're
I
bringing
talk
up
to him,
Pete Holmes.
yeah, I'm bringing up Pete Holmes. I used to listen to his podcast
The fucking
all
dork
the time.
that had that show that, like, I mean, I think a lot of our favorite
Have
comedians.
you actually listened to any of his stand-up?
Pete Holmes?
Yes.
The dorky Christian guy?
He's not Christian.
Am I thinking of the wrong person?
Do you know? Yes, he's the big, dorky, supposedly Christian guy who's not Christian. If you've ever fucking listened to anything, listen to his stand-up. It's good.
Yeah, but he didn't come around till like a couple years ago. What does he have to do
he's
with
had a
anything?
podcast since fucking 2009. And that's the reason why I was comparing him to St. Rogies, is because he would have 3 fucking hour podcasts. And after listening to that for a couple of years, I tried to get into Rogan stuff, and he had some good people on and all that shit, but it's just a 3-hour podcast is not digestible. You got to like take out a fucking afternoon to do it, you know. It's like going to the beach, you know, it's going to take the whole fucking day.
No, my job, I could do it. Well, I could listen to whatever while I worked. So it worked out for me.
Do you whistle while you work?
I got lucky. Huh?
Do you whistle while you work?
No, I didn't whistle. I laughed.
So you do just kind of brainless shit on a computer, or not trying to get too deep diving? Ink.
I literally, our customers would pick a color. They're like, okay, we want. Oh, actually, let me show you. Well, this is something that we printed at work. Okay.
Okay.
I'm drinking
so
my beer out of it.
You do like merch type shit. You do like.
This is basic
stuff.
black ink. Okay.
And then you
but
screen print it on the cup.
Sometimes our customers would pick a custom color, and we have the books. And my job was to mix that color and make it so we could print their logo in their custom color.
Okay.
With their whatever they wanted on their.
So you're one of those colored people I've been hearing about. No. Well, your life matters, just so you know. Okay.
All lives matter.
Oh, you're canceled. 5 minutes into your fucking podcast, you're canceled.
You mentioned. Well, that's what I want to talk about, because you mentioned, and that's why I stopped you, because you mentioned Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yeah.
And so you didn't ever watch Call Me Lucky? You didn't listen to him talk about? I didn't
get to see Call Me Lucky, no. I actually talked with him about it at the meet and greet, because that was when, I don't know if you've ever heard the podcast Harmontown by Dan Harmon, the guy who created Community and Rick and Morty.
I've heard of Dan Harmon,
it was on for about 10 years, and it just ended last year, unfortunately. But he would have guest hosts on, and Bobcat was one of those. And, you know, they do their thing, and then they play D&D at the end and whatever. And so he guest hosted it, and I was like, you did a really great job there. And he's like, you didn't think I went too long on talking about certain things? I'm like, no, it was fine. And then I was reading on the internet, because I'm a big fan of his movies. Because if you've never seen God Bless America, go fucking stop what you're doing right now and go watch that movie. Because it's got Bill Murray's brother, Joel. He was on like Mad Men for a little bit. He's Bill Murray's brother. Not the one that does Mr. Krabs' voice. You don't care for anybody who's not in the.
No, I was into Mad Men. Actually, one of my English teacher at school, like that was our project. Like our first hour we would talk about shit, and then our second hour of class she would play episodes of Mad Men. So Mad Men was forced upon me in my first college experiences.
Well, anyway, he's got that God Bless America is where the guy, Bill Murray's brother,
Is
goes
Dan
to the
Harmon's
doctor.
movie?
No, this is Bobcat Goldthwait.
Bobcat's movie, okay.
And he writes and directs his own movies. The one that he did before that was called World's Greatest Dad that had Robin Williams in it. His son kills himself by doing the Michael Hutchinson thing. He's autoerotically asphyxiating himself while he masturbates. And his dad is an English teacher, and his son is fucking mean as shit to him. And then he writes his son's suicide note so that nobody knows that he died from autoerotic asphyxiation. And then all the shit that he sent in under his writer name would get rejected by magazines and book dealers and stuff. But this, it went viral, the suicide note. And then he kept making more suicide notes for his son because he was getting validation as a writer. It's some pretty dark shit. And then he had one which was like about Sasquatch, and then he had one in the late called Windy City Heat. It's kind of like
that's what I was talking about, the Rogan thing, because it was right after Robin Williams died, and it was I think Barry Crimmins was still alive. It was before Barry Crimmins died. And
like I said, I talked to him about it at the meet and greet because I'd read that he was doing a documentary on Barry Crimmins' life. And there's a lot of stuff that you don't know about that cat that you find out if you listen to interviews with him about how he was molested as a child and about how he worked with the FBI to break up.
Ding dong.
Yeah. Well,
I watched it.
Spoiler alert, motherfucker. So
dude, do you even know? Like, there was this whole thing about AOL.
Yeah.
He went to court and he was telling them, he's like, he's pleading in front of the Supreme Court. Like, there's people that are taking advantage of young children. Like,
they still are.
It's crazy. You need to watch that for real.
Yeah,
but another thing.
Wasn't that movie Comedian based on Barry Crimmins as well? The one
Comedian? I didn't see that. I don't know why.
That's why I was, but I thought it was based on him. It's the one that the Disgusting Hawk helped supervise.
Disgusting Hawk.
Yes. And I can't, man, when I see people giving her shit online, that just makes me so angry.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She's the nicest person in the fucking world. And her stand-up is on par with some of the best shit you're ever going to see. And people giving her shit, it's like, man, don't you have anything better to do with your life? Anything. You know, go start building something or write a book or fucking just, why you gotta everybody?
I had a moment with her. Like, I don't think I'm special or anything, but when I heard about her
special, but
no,
special.
I am for sure special. Fucking head. But when she was talking about her daughter that had heart surgeries and being in the hospitals and stuff like that, like, I've been through that. My nephew. That's what the picture on my Twitter thing. That cloud.
Right. And that was your nephew. Is he passed on?
He lived a month. And it was a roller coaster. He had an open wound vac. As soon as he was born, he had to have heart surgery. And he had an open wound vac, and he had IVs in his groin and his feet, and he was like all bruised up. He was just this little tiny baby that.
At least he didn't suffer too much.
Yeah, he was very heavily drugged for sure, but it was just up and down. We're like, oh, he's doing better, and then no, he's not doing good, and we had to eventually, when I took that picture, that was after we went up and they morphined him. Well,
I tell you what, write up an outline and we'll send it to Bobcat Goldthwait and he can make a movie out of it.
No, why? He doesn't need to think about that shit. But no, that's one of the things that that Bobcat on that Rogan episode, he talked about Robin Williams and what he was going through, like it wasn't Alzheimer's, but it was some kind of form of dementia or whatever, and he knew, and that's why he killed himself.
I think
it wasn't autoerotic asphyxiation or whatever like that. It was just like he was depressed. He knew what was happening to him, and he
also relapsed to alcohol too, is what I'd heard.
Yeah, but he knew he was losing his mind, and he didn't want to turn into that.
That's how he ended up like suffocating himself to kill himself.
He didn't jerk off to death. He wasn't one of those jerk choker guys.
No, that's a movie.
Like,
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Follow the thread. This will serve you well further down the line in your podcast career.
Follow the thread?
Follow the thread, yes.
Of what?
It was a movie character. I didn't say he autoerotic asphyxiated. His character.
No, I didn't say you did.
The movie did that. Okay, all right.
I didn't say you did.
Okay.
I didn't say you said that.
No, but that's how he passed away.
You didn't listen to the Bobcat Goldthwait on Joe Rogan because it was too long.
I might do that. But I do enough listening of Joe Rogan when I'm watching UFC. So, you know, I'm all praise to Saint Rogies. I love
Rogies.
And I like his stand up. He's not as funny as Pete Holmes though, but he's funny. You know. And you know, before you go ahead and pass that check, you might want to check out his shit first.
Check out whose shit?
Before you make that judgment call. Pete Holmes.
Pete Holmes?
Yeah, Pete Holmes. Oh, okay. Oh, rolling eyes now. Oh. Now
you don't think I know who Pete Holmes is? I watched that stupid show.
That's not him. Do you understand? It's based on his life, but it ain't him. Okay.
I will take that. This is the point of what we're talking about, our podcast journeys and how you came to find stuff. Pete Holmes is one of your intros to finding like the skanks and everything.
Podcasts that I listened to. It was Pete Holmes. I listened to Nerdist a lot.
Nerdist.
At that point, I was into a big Doctor Who phase. I've watched it since probably before you were born.
Dude, you're only 9 years older than me. Don't talk to me like
I started watching it at age 6 on PBS. Oh, I'm being reverse ageist on you.
Yes, you are. You're talking to me like I'm a fucking 20-year-old idiot. I do know some shit.
I didn't say that.
I know about Doctor Who.
What
do you think about the lady one? Have you watched the new episodes with the lady one? No,
actually, once they got Capaldi in there, I kind of lost the thread because I loved it when they rebooted it with that Eggleston cat, and then when they did the David Tennant series, I was all on board for that. And then when they did what's his nuts, Matt, the younger guy, when they had the Drop Dead redhead on there. She's the one in the Jumanji movies and Guardians of the Galaxy. She's a Scottish actress. And legs for
She's the new Doctor Who? Is that what you mean?
No, she was the companion to Matt. That was like number 13, Matt something. I'm blanking on his name because that's kind of what wore me out because the episodes weren't being written very well. And that's why it petered off a little bit. And then Nerdist broke up. Nerdist was Jonah Ray, Matt,
Chris Hardwick.
And Chris Hardwick. And then that was that whole time where they were just like, you know, covering nerdy things that I liked, but then it just got kind of like too kitsch. And I did listen to Jonah Ray's podcast for a while, which is like him covering songs that
what else does Jonah Ray do? I know his name. What else does he do?
He had a show on, I think it was like CISO or something, where it was like a travelogue program, but all totally scripted with his comedian friends in there, and they would just play wacky characters in the town he was in. Like he did this one from Seattle, and that blonde lady, I forget what her name is, Arwen something or other, but she ran a restaurant called Scrambled Eggs and lettuce or something after like the Frasier show song. and it was all dedicated to Frasier. It's just stupid stuff like that.
Frasier was one of my shows. I loved Frasier.
Right. Well, what is it? It's something and scrambled eggs, like
tossed
loose leaf
salad?
binders.
Isn't it tossed salad?
Yeah, that's what she named her. That's what she named her restaurant. I'm not sure where you can find it now, because all of that stuff that was on CISO, including Big J's show,
I know.
You can't find it anymore. And I watched that. I watched the first season, and I was trying my best. I was going to every dark side I could find to try and locate the second season of that, because it is so good. His crowd work, I almost say he's better than Attell on that.
He's all tied up with NBC or some shit. I think Jay, they wanted $300,000 for him to buy his fucking special, his show.
And he's not going to do that.
Yeah, it was some kind of ridiculous. And
you know what
Joey
you ought to
Diaz.
do? Just troll that shit up, or give it to one of the nefarious skanks, and just let them throw all that shit up on YouTube and just let it.
I'm sure somebody has it.
It is dynamite stuff.
But the fans, they haven't. I think the fans probably have it, but they're trying to be respectful or whatever, or maybe not. I don't.
Or not get Big J in trouble.
Shady ones.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, all of them basically.
But the What's Your Fucking Deal? That's the show, right? The What's Your Fucking Deal is the show that was and we had guest hosts on that would do crowd work and shit like that.
Yeah, well, he'd have a microphone in the audience, and that was usually another comedian. It was a black fellow. What was his name? Fuck, I can't remember. He's another comedian. And like they said in the second season, at least they talked about it on the bonfire, where Dan actually was mic in the audience for that. But I never got to see it because I got a CISO subscription. They fucked it up. I called and talked to the people for there, and I was like, nah, just cancel it. Because I got it because they had this one show or they had the 6th season of Community, or maybe I'm thinking of that Yahoo Screen thing.
Oh, I liked Community.
That was it. You like Community?
Yeah, I didn't watch it all.
Well, you'd like Dan Harmon
I like
stuff
that show.
Then
too.
You'd like Dan Harmon stuff too. He quit doing his podcast though, but he had a podcast for 10 years called Harmontown. Him and this other dude who does improv called Jeff B. Davis. And then they had a guy that was a fan of their show. Then they pulled him out of the audience to be a dungeon master for their game. And then he ended up just being part of the show. And essentially it started out when they fired Dan Harmon from Community in season 4 because he was getting a little out of sorts with his demons, as it were. And so
as humans, what?
Well, he was he's an avowed alcoholic, and he makes no bones about he drinks.
I just remember I think I had it one night. I fell asleep and I had it. It was just playing, and it was the lava episode. I woke up to go pee, and it was the lava episode, and that made me laugh so hard. It was so dumb. And then Childish Gambino came out of that. That's so crazy that he was just this nerdy black kid on this dorky show.
He was working on that stuff while he was on there.
Yeah.
They would talk about him. I actually listened to him when they did a reunion show. I think it was at last Comic-Con or something. They had a panel, and they had everybody but Danny Glover, because he was,
Danny Glover
recording it. Yeah. And actually, I saw that's his name, Danny
Glover.
Yeah, because he was on I don't know if it was Tonight Show or Conan or something, but he said, if you move the letter from my last name to the back of my first name, my name is Donald Glover. That's it, not Danny. Donald. He said his name was Don Glover. If you move the G back to the Don. So, all right, where were we at? Podcast, right? Or stand up?
Oh, I just want to say when CISO shit happened, I signed up for it. I hadn't found the Skanks yet. exactly. Like
Yeah.
they had been guests on. I kind of listened to a lot of like old O&A stuff, and Jay and Lewis and even Dave had popped in. They'd popped in as a team sometimes, but one of the things that made me sign up for CISO was that Joey Diaz had his special coming out on CISO.
Right, that was his first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And it was like that was around the time where like all that. So like I had a weird. I don't know. I just listened to everything. I didn't like.
Well, not everything.
I know, just whatever YouTube was suggesting, and it started with Rogan, it went to like O&A stuff, and then I found it was like maybe 6 months after Anthony got fired. Okay. I was listening to a whole bunch of old Opie and Anthony clips, and then I was listening to. Was that on
Sirius or was that on terrestrial radio?
On Sirius. I was listening.
On Sirius?
Like,
okay.
Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't listening on Sirius. I was listening on YouTube. Okay. And then there was episodes of Opie and Jimmy that were coming out like the day after, and I'm like, fuck it. That's when I signed up for Sirius. And I started listening to Opie and Jimmy maybe 3 months before they split up.
Okay. So you're not a Howard Stern fan?
No.
Not like, okay. Because I know that old Big J is a ginormous Stern fan. I watched his TV show.
Old Big J. Old Big J is a
well,
big
he's
old
2 years
Howard
younger than me. He's 2 years younger than me, so.
Oh, big old J.
He's got grown-ass daughter and stuff, so, you know. And also, he doesn't mind your friends vomiting at the B&B there.
No, he was trying to be nice. He was trying to fucking be nice. He wanted to surprise her. He had no fucking idea what he was walking into.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
The shit, what is it? The SDR thing where it's like, welcome to the shit show.
Yeah.
Here it is.
To the intro to the shit show.
The intro to the shit show, yeah. Hey, say what's up, Ma. Hey, Ma. Hi.
Hi, Mom.
Mom.
Smoking a cigarette.
Moms. Having a stogie. She's watched her PBS. She's gotten her British fixation done with. I'm trying to push her onto that Gordon Ramsay Uncharted show. I think she'll dig it.
Uncharted? I love Ramsay. He's one of my favorite people ever.
I don't like the Kitchen Nightmares or the MasterChef shows where he's like yelling at everybody.
I love all of it. All of it. I love all of it.
The other one, it's actually one that my friend from England, Drunken Jim, you get to hear him later when we start doing our thing. But he clued me into this one series that they had over there in UK. It's actually 2 seasons of it. It's him, this Italian chef named Gino, and then this French chef, I forget, like name is Jeff or something. And then they just go around to places in England and just start doing their thing. And usually
it's the Uncharted show?
No, it's called shoot.
Oh, Uncharted is something different. Okay.
No, it's Uncharted's his own. It's kind of like his No Reservations, or like his sort of show that's a lot like Anthony Bourdain.
Do you know what the one is where they he goes up? It's an English show, and he goes up against another chef, and that the people in the restaurant vote whether they're going to pay for the meal or not.
Okay. Well,
do you know what
show
that?
Tell you the name.
It's not.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't know, but the one that my friend hit me to, it's called Gordon, Gino, and Fred. And Fred's the French chef, Gino's the Italian chef, and he's the English chef, or Scottish. He says he's Scottish, but he's got an English accent. And they're all Michelin star chefs, but it's more about them going around places and annoying each other. And there's 2 series of it. It's on ITV in England, but you're not going to find it. Like, if you find it for there, you'd have to like go through a VPN or something to change your location, or just find it wherever you can find it. But it's hilarious. And No, but I was watching some Gordon Ramsay's Uncharted, and I was like, my mom would love this. She loves India and all that other stuff. And there's one where they go there, and you know, it's
my
all
mom
kinds of cool.
hates Gordon Ramsay. Like,
yeah.
I would watch it all the time, and she's like, "Will you turn that off? Aren't you sick of hearing him yelling?" And then my nephew got into it, and I like the Master Chef. I like the Master Chef Junior, and I love all of it.
Well, I'm just not keen on reality programming.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Because to me, it's,
I know.
And
I know. It's bullshit.
Oh, the other show we were talking about when you were saying, was it Lucky Louie? Or, oh no, you were talking about Barry Crimmins' documentary, which made me think of Louis C.K.'s show that he had on FX. I loved the shit out of that one. That was so great. I've lost.
That was Lucky Louie was the one he had on HBO before he got famous.
Lucky Louie is the one that I haven't seen.
And that's when like Jim Norton was fat, and like I had seen his special that show was kind of based on. Or like one of the funniest jokes was how he was talking about how dumb his daughter is, and they're playing hide and seek, and she's like, "Ooh, you can't see me," and they have to pretend that they don't see this dumb kid. You know what I mean? And he's
have you ever gone back and watched Tough? Have you ever gone back and watched the Tough Crowd stuff?
I have watched a bunch of those, and I hate myself because I was too like 13, 14 when that show was on Comedy Central.
So you're busy with your own personal world.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it at the time, and I got annoyed when that show came.
Well, I was around when that was on, and I didn't watch it either because I just didn't, like, in my 20s, I didn't hardly watch TV at fucking all. I was too busy, like, running around drinking, smoking weed, doing drugs, whatever, trying to get laid, whatever you do when you're 20. Working on a shit job and, scraping on past.
Do you remember how old you were? 20? Minus 10 years to find out how old I was.
What year are we talking about? Because I think it came on. It started in 92, didn't it?
When Tough Crowd started, I don't know. 92?
Yeah.
I know my brother was born in 94, and I was 11. I was 11 in 94. I know that for sure.
Well, 92, I graduated from high school. So if that's any barometer of the age level, that may be the gray.
Yeah, you're 10. You're 9 years older than me. Okay.
Yeah. You know how old my ex-wife was? 9 years young.
I'm not dumb because I happen to be born in this different time. You were old enough to understand that show and appreciate it.
Yeah, I know, and I
didn't
didn't.
get it. I was too little.
You see, when that shit was on the air, I was just barely getting hip to Bill Hicks. The only stuff that I used to listen to back in the day, like way back in the day, was fucking Bill Cosby albums. Then I finally, when I was about like 8 years old, probably before you were born, maybe.
I was born in 82.
I saw Live on the Sunset Strip on a friend of mine's HBO. And that's where I came to get my phrase that I love the most is motherfucker, And I would just say that everywhere. But you always have, when, you're out with your friends or you're out on your own, you can say all that stuff. But then you get around family and you got to no more swears.
I want to hear your mom. Is your mom still down there?
No, she's gone upstairs.
You're like, hey, Mom, what did you think when I started saying motherfucker when I was like 12 years old? Like, what do you think about that?
Now I do it whenever I want, It's that's already done.
Yeah, I know.
Because that and the other part, too, is my dad, when he was still with us, he would swear constantly. But she wouldn't give him any shit, just us, because we're the kids. So you fuck up, say a swear word, you're in trouble. But, then Richard Pryor, and then just various stuff. Of course, saw Eddie Murphy Raw and Delirious, and that shit was great at the time. Watched it again recently. Doesn't really hold up too good now. But the same goes for the Chris Rock stuff, like Bigger and Blacker and the other one that he did. It's good, But if you look at the level of some of the shit that people are doing now, like Chappelle's doing, just fucking, it's crazy.
You didn't like Chris?
Stanhope.
What did you think? Did you watch Chris Rock's newest one?
Was it Tambourine? I think that's what
Whatever,
it was called.
It came out like last year, right?
It came out 2018, and I wasn't too enthused with it. But and that and the same with the
horrible, right?
No, it wasn't horrible.
It wasn't terrible.
But it's like when he was at his peak, you know, you'd have the audience just rolling out of there with some of that. It's, you know, and it's kind of like, you know, you get a little slower in your old age and you lose a little bit of the pump and the pep in your step, and you know, he's interspersing it with things that have happened, and it's more kind of real talk type shit. But do
you think he was afraid of being? It seemed like he kind of maybe censored himself a little bit.
Well, right. I mean, could you imagine Patrice's new special now? What people would do on that? They would fucking, Karens all over the world would gasp so much so that the atmosphere of the earth might change. Because they're going,
it wouldn't. I think if Patrice, I think if he was still around, it would have maybe delayed where we're at now a little bit. Maybe.
I don't know.
Because he would have been calling that shit out. Yeah. And possibly had a voice somewhere. And I don't know. I like to, it's so stupid, I guess. You like to think
it's all been of a domino effect going down through the years. It's not like it all just happened at the same time, but it's been just a constant, like, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. And it's, you're getting to that point now where it's just, you know, court of public opinion rules, and nobody's getting, you know, like when they were talking about that D'Elia stuff, you know, and there are people that swear up and down that this is nothing but it's just it's a hit piece, you know. He wasn't doing any of that stuff. But I mean, who knows? That's the thing. Nobody knows.
Well, it's just like even with the fucking Chris Hardwick stuff.
Yeah.
It was the same kind of thing. Like he got canceled, he lost his job, he showed the proof of what he did and what he didn't do, and nobody talked. There's no stories retracting that.
No,
and trashing the girl.
It's like with Shane and SNL and stuff. I mean, there's no
exactly.
It's court of public opinion. That's where you get your torches and your pitchforks, and then you head to the castle to kill the fucking demon. And it's not that demon was doing anything bad. Hell, he was just put together by the scientists, old dead body parts that they pulled out of a graveyard. And they threw two bolts in his neck. I fucking love Shane so much, dude. Yeah.
They're so silly. What was the one? Oh, did you watch the one with the dog girl?
I listened to it.
I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to watch it because I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be so dumb. But Shane, like, you could see, like, because they were talking about it in the rap, I think. Before I listened to it, they were talking about it in the rap chat about that episode.
Oh,
and how
you could podcast? Okay.
Yeah. They were talking about how, like, you could see the how she was like flirting with Matt, and then it was hurting Shane's feelings, and I'm like, whatever. So I didn't want to watch it, but when you have to watch it though, because
you have to watch it. Okay.
Yeah, because Shane, he's saying stuff, but he's making faces where he's like she'll say something and he'll be like
well, he doesn't have a girl right now,
he'll say something flirty to her, but he'll make this face like. And Matt is using his psychology degree on her. He's trying to ask her questions about her history and everything. He's using his education and like trying to make a real interview. It was I didn't even finish it all the way. I think I got like
he's doing that sixth dimension stuff that he was talking about before.
Oh God.
The sixth dimension stuff where, you know,
oh Lord.
He's having his thing, whereas Salt Life Shane, he's doing his thing. No, it's funny too when I told you about when I found out that they were like right down the road from me. because they talked about that newscaster where somebody just came up and shot her. I'm like, dude, that's right down the fucking road in Manita, Virginia. That's right there, you know. If I'd have known they were there, I'd have gone over and said, what's up? But I didn't find that out until he'd come back to his dad's, and he's pimping out old Phil on those Matt and Shane's there. Phil's the hammer, man. They fucking love some Phil. Let me tell you what, buddy. Phil and his high school girls basketball team, where they've gone to regionals 5 years running.
You better not be talking trash.
Talking trash.
Talk trash about Phil.
I wouldn't talk trash about anybody in the Gillis family. And ever since that shit happened, I immediately found a graphic, and it said, it's like green on yellow, and it says, I support the young bull. And I flew that on my Twitter for 2 months. Said, come at me, bros.
No, I got that was like one of my happiest moments ever was getting to tell Shane and what's his face?
Dumbass.
What's the little guy?
Brian Six.
No, the other one.
Turd O'Connell.
Yeah, O'Connie's. He was there.
And Turd too.
Turd, yeah, turd. I couldn't do that. Turd. But I was trying not to be disrespectful. But like Shane started talking about his sister. Like I had never heard him talk about his sister and her heroin problem. Right. The one that had the breast cancer and stuff. But like I was listening to the one on the way down where he was talking about arm wrestling with Phil and how he's calling his sister slamming Sammy Sosa or whatever. So he starts talking about his sister that's on heroin, and I was like, Sosa. And I was like, oh, fuck, maybe that's the wrong sister or whatever. But no, it wasn't the right one.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about his siblings.
Oh, my God, dude.
I don't listen to a whole lot of Matt and Shane's. Like, I'm not on their stuff.
I had never heard him talk about it, about his sister's drug problem.
Well, that and the last time I went to one. The
Huh?
last time I went into one of the YouTubes where they were broadcasting it, I think it might have been like 3 back. And it was like Melissa was in there holding court. And so I just posted up and just didn't say nothing. I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to let this
I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know that person.
Because let me tell you, compared to even Gas Digital chat, YouTube chat can be
it's
wild.
Horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah. And there's no mods, no nothing, So like you got.
There's no mods in Gas?
Well, they will do something if somebody, because we had, what was it?
No, they have. When?
They had it, week before last? I think it was, or it might have been 2 weeks ago. They had that one cat in there, and he kept doing that same like ASCII graphic and just like pushing all the chat up. And then finally, I think Bobby Hutch came in there and kicked his ass out. But Sal, your buddy there, said he was the one who affected the change. But who knows about that?
I didn't know that. There was like, I don't know if you're there, but there was somebody, like there's been a couple times, and that's one of the things that South did that was fucking annoying. You would post pictures, and every time somebody posts a picture, the chat freezes. And so if you're not on your phone, you're just trying to fucking let it happen and do other shit. Yeah. Like it freezes, and so then all of a sudden you have to scroll, and so.
Well, it would probably behoove them to just like see who's in there every day. Like say for example, Frail or Kush or somebody, maybe even Northwest if he's not hammered off his ass. And I wouldn't choose me, of course, but just somebody who's in there every day. Either they're at work or whatever, and just give like one of the users like a free subscription if they just mod the channel. You're going to be in there anyway. Just give them a little power and make sure that they don't abuse it. That's all.
I don't know if you know that he doesn't want anything to do with any of it anymore.
It's pissed him off too much.
Yeah. Well, I don't even fucking know. That's not something for a recorded.
Okay. Thing. Well, he was nice when I met him, and
he's a very great guy. He's a fucking great guy, dude. Like,
Well, I was done with gas for a little bit too after getting too deep into the water, so just had to pull it back a little bit.
What waters did you get into? What do you mean?
Oh, just between everybody there, the fact that I won't drop an F-bomb or an N-bomb or shit like that, I just kind of like, that, and Lewis called me a tryhard too, so I was like, all right, I'll just chill. Because normally I just get teed up on alcohol and start ripping. So
I don't think any of the fans should be mods.
Well, they could just pick somebody who's not doing anything,
But it shouldn't be any fans.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they got the producers doing too much as it is, because they don't even do that right. Because you got to blame Shannon, or you got to blame Dylan, or you got to blame Bobby, or you got to blame Alex, and it's just like, they don't ever sit in their own chat anymore. None of them seem to. I don't know. Maybe it got a little too old for them.
I didn't know that. It's kind of awesome to find out that Bobby shut somebody down that was trying to. But I don't know if you were there, but there was somebody that was kind of spamming the chat. I don't remember even what show it was, but it was months ago, and it was and I think I DM'd somebody about it, and and they're like, oh yeah, we'll take a look at it. And
one of the guys there at that time, when he was doing whatever that cat was doing when he was spamming it, there's one of the guys popped up and said, oh, I know where this dude is. I'm going to dox his fucking shit, or something like that. And it's like, okay, empty promise. Thank you. But, no, I think it would be good because they'd be invested in it. They're a part of it and they want it to be good. And as long as you're not like the federal government shutting shit down where it shouldn't shut it down. But, if you get somebody in there, there's a real fucking annoyance. Don't make it personal,
Right,
don't give them
that's
the entire
why I don't
power,
think any fans should have, I wouldn't.
But I think it would be good if that was a fan that did it, because they'd be invested in it, But you just have to make sure that they're not like, oh, well, this dude popped off to me a couple days ago, I'm going to kick his ass.
But there's no fan that's not impartial.
Okay.
All the fans have their own friends.
Me.
You?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. You'd be the first fucker I ban on there.
You'd ban me first?
Yes.
First.
You would be the first one. And then I'd unban you, and then invite you back in, and then ban you again.
Fuck this shit.
And then I'll be like, no, that was just a mistake. Come on back. Then banned. Oh no, I don't know. No, there could be a little more oversight there, and they could actually.
I hate how I have my stupid head.
Fix the app or the website a bit so it's a little bit more, because they're operating on some fucking 2012 chat fucking shit. That it's way better now. I mean, you can get it where you can pop it out so you can bring it bigger on your screen. I know they're dealing with a lot of people just using their cell phones and shit, but like you said, if somebody throws a picture up in there, chat has to stop and they have to go to the slider and slide it down, or what have you.
And
so wait, go back to what you were saying about Sammy. You're saying something about Sammy, and I'm like, I have no idea who that is. Okay, and you've met her at one of the shows?
No, I haven't.
I have to grab a beer real quick. One moment.
Ooh, I gotta pee.
Well, maybe you can pause it and then go about your business, unless you're going to record the pee sounds or whatever. This podcast is brought to you by Low. There's a low in the moment. find that the evening's going too fast, awkward silence is your best friend. Also brought to you by weed. Smoke 'em while you got 'em. Yeah. And also, listen to Chelsea's Dumps podcast. Because why not? Soon coming to you on a platform not heard of. Beer. Brought to you by Pillow Laden Armchair. Yes, come down to the Pillow Laden Armchair store. We have plenty of armchairs that are also laden with pillows.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to the empty space. Beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. All right, now for my next trick, I'm going to eat some peanuts. Watch as I peel and eat the peanuts. They are fantastic. What's that?
Come here, Austin.
Hey, you drinking the same thing I am over there.
What?
You got the Ying Lang.
That's my nephew. Max.
Oh, what's up, nephew?
It's Austin.
Dig your shirt, man. I'm a big Cookie Monster fan. I actually have a Cookie Monster t-shirt. Hold on, I'll show you. If I can find it. I got so many damn work shirts. I don't know which way to go. I can usually find it right away, though. Hold on. Vamp for a little bit. Say things. Nope, can't find it. Nope. Oh, well.
I do have my brother's shirt that he
says,
just happened to find.
You see this one? It says, "You've died of dysentery." From Oregon Trail.
He's 14. He doesn't remember Oregon Trail.
No, you probably don't. But and then there's Mr. Meeseeks doing the Rosie the Riveter pose.
To try to survive in the old Western days, you have to try to make one. You have to try to make a way to one civilization to another.
I can barely understand what you're saying.
I know what the game is.
That's cool. No, I have a Cookie Monster shirt that's it's just a whole field of blue, and it's his eyes and his mouth. Yeah. And that's what that
like a scary movie that this person's sitting in. Yeah.
So you're now watching other stuff while we're recording this?
Oh, yeah, I need batteries.
You need batteries?
Yeah.
What kind?
Thing.
Double D?
Like,
Triple A? Quadruple C?
For the controller?
Yeah. For some reason, the thing where you plug your in is kind of
Okay.
What kind of controller? PlayStation?
Xbox One.
Xbox. Fuck you. Only PlayStation, baby.
Oh. Wait, what? I forgot what we were talking
about. PlayStation.
We brought up
controller.
Sammy for some reason.
Get her on the pod.
I can't.
Have a chin wag with her. I'm sure she'd love it. Let the people know who you are. Why? Why are you flicking me off? Why this tude? You're gonna have to.
I was trying to remember why we were talking about Sammy. Oh, because I was telling her. I was telling you that that's one of the things that like my friendship with her was all like about like she had a crush on Kurt and his friend Kurt Metzger.
Kurt Russell?
Metzger. Can't get right.
Yeah, I'm aware of him. He's got a
and
big
I was
hog,
telling her how
apparently.
I had a crush on Dave Landau and Aaron Berg.
Oh, you'd like
That's why I brought up Sammy. That's why I brought up Sammy. Huh?
You'd like this cat that I know on Twitter. Her name is Corny. And she's a huge Dave Landau fan. See?
Oh, really?
You need to take care of business right here. That's all you need.
Have you ever made a noose?
I have not.
Have you?
Did you hear
did
about
you
them
listen to the
talking about the
bonfire from
discarded
Thursday?
noose? Yes. About the noose. Yes, I heard about that. That was quite funny. That was very funny. And it's weird too, man, that guy had a problem with it, you know? That the guy who had made the noose and the suicide note, he was upset with them for them like riffing that thing. You're like, do you not listen to these guys every day? They riff on everything.
Yeah.
Everything, there's nothing off limits. And if you're going to provide them with a discarded noose and a, suicide note that was, tucked into your pocket, they're just going to go with it, dude.
Do you think we'll ever find out what clip it was?
Who knows?
That saved his life?
No. It was probably Jacob talking about it.
No, there's no way that Jacob was the fucking thing that... No
or he
way.
heard $40 pussy. They don't use that drop enough. That and the other drop that they used to use a lot that they don't anymore was of Dan farting. And it was so funny because it just kind of goes like... It was Dan ripping a fucking dry one.
Yeah.
That show is so good, man. That I'm one of the reverse people on that whole thing. I found Legion of Skanks first.
Yeah.
But I only found it after I knew about Big J because I'd seen him on Ari's storytelling show before that got passed off to somebody else. And then I watched that show we were talking about, the Crowdwork show. And so I knew about him,
deal?
and I was looking, huh? Yeah.
What's your fucking deal?
Right,
on CISO?
Right. Yeah, on CISO. And I watched that, and then I think it was like 2016-ish. That was the first season I was working with my tree company there. And I would listen to that shit religiously when it come up because it was just so good. And that night also, like, I've got a whole rotation of fucking podcasts that I listen to now. And like I told you earlier, I was talking about it with Tim Buttersley on his Twitch page.
Butterly.
Like,
there's no S's. Butterly.
Buttered stuff. Butternut.
Butterly.
Parsley. Parsley nuts.
Yeah, parsley.
Okay. Well, yeah, and he was just like, well, you got to pare it down a little bit. And I'm like, well, that might include your podcast. So, Oh, and the other thing I also did was I watched that Rap Today I was telling you about from Friday, the Bye Guys episode. And I didn't realize that both Zach and Ian Fidance are both off Twitter. And so I thought that my ska episode of my podcast, he'd like it because he's a big fan of ska music. So I was like, shit, I didn't realize he was off Twitter because I sent him, like when I posted it, I put a little and at Fidance and said, what do you think? Because I thought maybe
know Ian was off
check
Twitter.
it out. Well, it's what they said on the Bye Guys podcast Friday. They both removed it. Like what happened with Zach was he made some.
I know why Zach's
complaining about. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. And then Ian was just, he's been like holed up in his place forever, and he decided he didn't want to deal with Twitter anymore. So he just does stuff on Instagram. So I thought it'd be nice, and I just sent him a little message on like I followed him because for some reason I wasn't following him yet. That and I don't understand Instagram that well. But I sent him a DM. I don't. It was like me when I first started Facebook. I couldn't figure it out, but eventually, now I don't. I cast off Facebook like 3 years ago because it kept showing me old pictures of me being married, and I'm like, I don't want to see this anymore. I don't want to listen to my friends bitch about gun control. I don't want to listen to all of this shit, And so I just stopped going, and the only thing I use it for is Messenger because I got some family and some friends overseas that still use it. So, and it's kind of it's almost impossible not to have it on your phone because that's their overreach. But I sent him a message just saying, hey, I thought you might like this because you're a fan of ska music. It's about my journey in through ska and how all that shit came down. And, you know, because not everybody likes it. It's like, you know, like fucking.
You sent Ian a message on Instagram?
Yes. And I said, you know, I sent him the whole thing, whole blurb. And then I said, thanks for your comedy and stay safe. Just left it at that, you know. Not like I'm trying to get a leg up. But he was on the Trash podcast. And then he went on Robert Kelly's podcast wearing the Trash shirt. So I was just like, Fida's the man. Because those guys are really fun. I mean, I can't wait, like, maybe sometime down the line, like, once I've gotten back to work and have some money going, I might just drive down there just to meet up with them and say what's up. Because they were talking about getting me to do a segment on their podcast, but I don't really know what that would be. So, you know, maybe you can do a Zoom chat or something, you know.
Yeah, that'd be awesome with it.
And like, that might be something more what you could do with yours is like do it like with me and talk to some of the people that listen to Gas. Like Sammy or
I have no friends, dude. Sammy said she might do it, but that was before I fought with South J. I kind of talked to her a little bit. I didn't want to bug her. But she said she would do it.
Come at it real nice, you know? Come at it real nice.
I'm not trying to be hateful, dude. Like, I don't want to fight. Like I said, when all this shit happened, that was Monday night. Tuesday morning, I woke up to this fucking nightmare with my mom.
Right. Well, and just tell them you're trying to mend fences.
All the online stuff,
that's what you're
all
trying
the
to do.
fucking online shit seems like nothing anymore. It seems so dumb and so ridiculous.
It's insubstantial and it's sophomoric.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's what happened when I did those first 9 episodes. But then I just looked at the whole thing and I was like, well, fuck this and fuck them and fuck everybody. I don't give a fuck, you know. This is not important. This is just nothing but a burgeoning hobby. So if you just kind of treat it like that, and it's a no stress thing, you're not under any deadline to put them out.
Right.
Me, I just do it when my brain kicks in. Like for a month, I didn't have any motivation at all. And then last Wednesday, I started getting motivated. So did laundry that had been kicking around for a month. You know,
well, that's what, like, that's why I want to do this because, and Jason, Jason's odd. He's like I'd known him for like a year before I ever talked to you. Right. I'd been DMing with him, and before I ever listened to his podcast and stuff, and like he kind of like encouraged me before any of this stuff. Like, yeah, you should do that because, you know, like I've been writing down stuff that you said that I should check out. And that's one of the fun things, like finding out stuff from other fans.
It's difficult. Right. It's difficult when there's so much stuff out there. I mean, I go to my Dre site. I never know what the fuck's good. And so you go on recommendations. Like, that's why I was like a moth to flame when it came to Zach Amico's Midnight Show. And I started watching it because he does nothing but just give you, like, here's some stuff that he liked. And once you get in there, it's like, you know, finding somebody who's found a good game or finding somebody who's found a good book or finding somebody who's got a movie that they like. Like, I could tell you a movie.
Zach going into Zoom with us was a different thing completely.
Right.
Like him telling these, like, weird stories and stuff. That was
awesome.
Yeah. That was fun. He's fucking great.
I wish he would do it more, but you know, he already does enough with what he does. So, you know.
Am I wrong?
You know, maybe he's got Catalyst Wrestling.
Is his wife pregnant?
I don't know
just thinking of
anything
Giannis.
about
I know
Zach
Giannis
other than what he puts out there from rap and the Spook Show.
I could be wrong. I wanted to say that his wife was pregnant too, but that could be completely wrong. But
how did that happen?
What?
How did his wife get pregnant? She took a trip to the Cabbage Patch. Am I right?
Quit talking about my baby like that. Fucking bash Zach. Zach is the best. He's like the only comedian. Like, you remember that first time that he was hanging out with us, and there's somebody that was like, maybe like there's like a couple guys that were like talking over him, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, guys. I'm like, we have a fucking comedian here. Why are you talking? Shut up.
Right.
Get the fuck out.
Well,
what are
I think
talking?
wasn't your buddy Ray sitting in on that one too?
Yeah, he's the one that
he had the Crown Royal
asleep.
thing behind him, and he's swirling, you know.
And he was like passed out, and somebody said
Yeah,
something about dick, and he popped up because somebody said dick. And I was like, wait, where's Rashad? He's asleep.
Do that shit again. Like, here's.
Did you see that tweet that I sent you? What he tweeted?
Maybe. Which one was that? Oh, the picture of you and Big J?
No. It was a tweet that Rashad tweeted. I retweeted him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think I sent you.
Yeah, it was, and I said that's okay.
I mean, he's a black gay dude, and he said instead of taking statues down, we should just build another one doing gay things to the statue. Like, that was fucking hilarious. Like,
that's what they did in Eastern England. There's this one statue that they had of this one cat. I forget what his name was, but he made his entire fortune off of human trafficking. And so they went and took the statue, pulled it down, and then threw it into the bay next to where it sat. And then the guy whose podcast it was got a Kickstarter going in order to pull it back out of there and then to put it back up, but with the protesters pulling it down in statue form. So instead of completely erasing the statue, they said, well, here's protesters pulling the statue down as a statue, which is pretty neat, I guess. But
like, what's that World War II one? The one where they're holding up the flag, you know what I mean?
Oh, Iwo Jima, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Kind of like that, but knocking down
instead of them holding up a flag, they're tearing down a statue. And, you know, actually, when I went to the Philippines, they have a statue there in Manila for General MacArthur. Because, you know, we had the Philippines for a bit, and then they got Japan occupied for about 3 years, where they did their horror show stuff. So it's this big plaza, and it's got a statue of General Eisenhower, and then it's got a whole bunch of dudes coming out of the ground that are American soldiers. So it's like you see like the half torso one, and it's like they're coming up out of the water, but it's actually the ground. Then they have like little fountains in it all over the place that all just kind of like push water up through them. It's probably the coolest statue I've seen.
There was a weird one in Indianapolis. It was the Hoosiers whatever coach, and it was like him crouched down, and then it was legs. I have the picture. I can send it to you, but it's like black. It's basically legs cut off at the shorts. It was like back in the 70s or whatever, so they had the short shorts, but it looked like all black legs, and then I don't know. It was very weird to see in person.
He's a white guy, I take it. The coach.
Yeah, I feel like I should know his name because it's like an inspirational story about this coach and blah, blah. But the team was white.
College basketball.
So it was just because it was copper. It was like a copper statue. It looked like it was black legs, but it was like it was so
usually
ridiculous.
Copper goes green, but
it was,
you know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it was.
Statue of Liberty. It wasn't green when it got here.
Not as old as the Statue of Liberty, okay? It's fucking Indianapolis.
So have you ever gone to Philly? You seem to be a big Philly-centric comedian follower of Philly folks.
I wanted to, but when we were driving through, we kind of went above Philly because I was going with my cousin to New York for a Skankfest. And we were gonna maybe stop on the way back, but we got.
Well, usually it's a better option to go take the interstate instead of trying to go through the town, because that'll take 2
We
hours.
definitely stopped at a Wawa in a Sheets and ate food at both of them. We looked for T-shirts, but we couldn't. Neither store had shirts anywhere.
What's the verdict on that?
Sheets was better.
Sheets is better.
Mm-hmm.
We have Sheets down here, and I don't care for them because
really?
they got that thing where you go and you pick the menu. There's only one that I've been to that I liked that was a Sheets here in Virginia, and it's when we would make a run from Charlottesville to DC because we were going to see like a punk show or something. My friends live in Charlottesville, and they had a Sheets about halfway. I want to say like probably in and around that area where that Lorena Bobbitt left her husband's dick off, somewhere in around there. There's a Sheets, but instead of the MTO, which is where they make the, they'll make you a sandwich or whatever like that, they had what's called a Bullets, and they were like made to order hamburgers, and it was one of the best hamburgers you ever had. But then again, we've also got Denny's here, and the Denny's here are awesome. Whereas I'm sure
You're
everywhere
trash.
else you go, they're horrible.
You are total garbage.
Oh yeah.
Denny's.
No, well the IHOPs we have here suck. We have a brand called Shoney's. They suck.
I know what Shoney's is.
That's the one that Jeff Foxworthy advertises for. The only thing that's good about them is they've got a breakfast buffet. You can go and just get like a whole plate full of bacon or a whole plate full of scrambled eggs, or nobody there is eating there is underweight by 20 or 30 pounds. It's like Golden Corral territory.
But you say you didn't like Sheets.
I've eaten there a bunch of times because when I was doing tree service, I'd be running around all day. And so I wouldn't actually take a lunch break. So I'd have to stop somewhere. I could either get some fast food takeout or I'd get something from Sheets because I was getting gas for a vehicle or something.
Right.
Or running to the landfill.
Cigarettes.
Whatever.
You can get cigarettes, gas, and food all in one spot.
Soda, water, whatever. And they do sell Faygo at Sheets, though. So I was able to, try my ICP thing, and like they said it's garbage, but I kind of like their Moonlight Mist that they got. It's like Mountain Dew but better. But anyway, everything I've gotten out of there has not really been very good, and it could just be because they're just shitty Sheets. Because you get.
Have you been to Wawa? Have you tried Wawa?
I've never been to a Wawa. We don't have them around here. It's like we don't have Wawa, we don't have Circle K, we have 7-Eleven. And then we have other one called like Kangaroo, and we have one that's local called Stop In, and then we have.
We don't have any of those MTO things where you can order a sandwich. We don't have anything like that down here.
Nothing.
Down here, over here, you're kind of what? You're just east of me,
like
right?
Over.
So it's not down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit down. I think.
Over. So when I'm talking
over.
to you, I gotta say over instead of down.
Yeah, over. Well, because like I think a road trip for me to there, it's Lexington, right? Because I get Lexington and the other one confused. Louisville. I get them confused.
Oh, Lexington's kind of in the center.
Right. Yeah, I've been there once, and it took me about a 5.5 hour drive from here. You got to go up to West Virginia and then way over. But I was used to doing that from like going to where I'm from in New Hampshire. It's about a 10-hour drive.
New Hampshire.
That's why I'm not too good with the geography down here, because I only moved down here when I was 14. But I've spent more time here than I have there. That's why I have that weird accent that I affect sometimes.
Well, I'm from upstate New York.
Where, like Ithaca, Albany?
Yeah.
Albany. Where they got the chicken wings?
It's about the same area in Kentucky that I live now, but which Kentucky and New York are kind of shaped similarly, and where Albany is and where Lexington is. Yeah.
I don't see
like
that.
Snoopy. But... like Snoopy's
okay.
profile.
Right. I'll pretend that I understand.
But no, like we would drive. I've been to New Hampshire, Connecticut, Vermont. I've been through all those states.
Yeah.
Like when we were kids.
I used to live near a lake called Newfound Lake, and that was about 20 miles from Lake Winnipesaukee, which is the biggest lake in the Northeast, at least as far as New England's concerned. Once you start getting into Canada territory, they've got those Great Lakes, but those are further over. But
New Hampshire?
In New Hampshire, yeah. They have a lake called Lake Winnipesaukee. It's a weird mix of names that they have up there, because it's either like English named towns or Iroquois named places. Like the river that was nearest to us, well, there was Smith River, but then there's also one called the Pemigewasset. And it's all Indian names and stuff like that. But it's cool. When I went over to England in 2012 and was driving around, I'd look at the names and I'd be like, oh, there's Derry. Oh, that's the original Derry. Or, you know, because like all of the towns that were near where I grew up at, the one I grew up in was called Bristol. And then you had one next to it called Danbury. And then you had one called Hebron and Groton. And they're all like, you know, names from the Bible. New Alexandria, you know, shit like that.
Yeah.
And so, and it's all just like a teeny tiny, yeah, I'm total garbage. It's like, we had one convenience store, one car dealership, and one pizza place. And they didn't get a stoplight until, I want to say like 2005. Yeah. And they had one grocery store when I lived there. This would have been back in like before 1988. And then they got a newer one like after I'd gone. So, and I still got friends up there. They still live in the same town. It's just a different place up there. And
so you were 15 when you moved from New Hampshire to
14.
Okay.
Yep. And it was just because my brother and sister, my sister had just fled to university, and my brother had been in the military for 4 years. And then once we moved down south, he went back into the reserve. And they just wanted to get to where they don't have to deal with snow all the time. You know, you're getting older. You want to be in a place where it's not quite so bad. So they was just sounding stuff out. And my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, his family's from up in Alexandria, which is almost essentially a suburb of DC. Because like his dad he worked for the military, but not on the military end of it. He was the one who like crunched numbers for nuclear missiles and shit, you know. And actually that's what my brother-in-law, he does civil engineering work for the government. So, but what? No, he's fine. It's all good. He don't care. He's just stalwart thing. You know, it doesn't matter. But so that's kind of why we selected Virginia. Originally, we were thinking about moving to what's the name of that place? Winchester, which is like at the very tip top, like it's almost Maryland in Virginia. And then the other one was it had a weird name, like Chili Pepper. It's like Chili Pepper, Virginia. Something.
Okay.
We got some weird town names here. We've got a Floyd just up the road. We've got Floyd, Virginia, where there's
snow
Floyd
do you get there? So
maybe this last winter we didn't get any, but usually
we didn't either.
There's about a good 2 solid snowstorms.
Yeah,
Enough to have to go by, change
like
for your tires. Yeah. The worst part that we get are when you get ice storms. And then you have trees around here that they're either dying or they're diseased, and then they get hit with that ice, and then all that extra weight on them brings them down. So I'd be doing tree service on like emergency tree service for shit, you know, getting that stuff out of there because it fell on somebody's house or, you know, fell on a car or that's
well, that's just funny. Like,
that whole thing.
I mean, I don't know if you remember growing up in the upstate, like we would have like fucking 3 feet of snow, like all winter.
No, they still get
3 feet of snow.
They still get hammered with snow up there. I got relatives in northern New Hampshire, and they got hammered last winter. We didn't see any of it.
And that's what, like, being down here, people are like, oh, no, my God, it's snowing. And it's like,
yeah, no.
Shut the fuck. You don't know what snow is, you fucking idiot. What are you talking about? Like,
dude, I would be in my, I just did a Robert Kelly. Dude, I would be in my truck. I had an S10 that had rear wheel drive, but a V6, so it had like a lot of torque, and you couldn't like have that thing on a hill if it was wet because you wouldn't be able to go forward. But what I did was I put my chains on the back of my truck and then kind of used the front wheels as skis, and I would be like going down the road, no problem, and there would be people with like Super Duty trucks and Jeep Wranglers and 4x4s and SUVs off on the side of the road because they have no idea how to drive in snow. None. Yeah. They barely are able to drive when it's just like raining out.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's but I grew up driving in that shit.
Yeah.
In fact, my uncle used to have this old World War II era Willys Jeep, like what they eventually ended up turning into the Wrangler and the Jeeps that they have of now. But it had solid rubber tires on it. And we drive it down to the lake where somebody had brought like a truck with a plow on it, and they make like a racing rink for snowmobiles. So they could go out there and race their snowmobiles. And he let me take that Willys Jeep out there and just drive it all around on the ice. And driving on ice is like driving a boat. You know, you have to kind of figure the fact that there's going to be tons of drift and that you're going to flip around, but there's nothing out there to hurt, and you're not going to hurt that Jeep because it's a solid fucking piece of steel, you know. And that's how I learned on that. But it didn't prepare me for driving in England. That was a different thing.
Oh, I'm sure. God damn. I was about to say I learned how to drive in Chicago.
Oh yeah, yeah. City driving can be
all three of my mom, my aunt, my uncle, and my grandma's car were all stick shifts.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to drive a stick in Chicago with city traffic and cars on the sides of the roads.
Yeah, that's city driving can be a whole different thing, because when we would go down to the big city, which for us in New Hampshire was Boston, people drive like maniacs down there. People drive like maniacs. I mean, you think it's bad wherever you're at. Intensify that even worse. Or if you have the opportunity to go to DC or Baltimore, driving on the Beltway, oh my fucking word. I had to help my brother move from his family from middle of Maryland on the Delmarva Peninsula to Charlottesville. And I had to go, in order to get where he's at in Maryland, you either have to go up to DC and then down through Annapolis out to the Delmarva Peninsula, or you go down to Richmond and then Newport News, and then you take the Chesapeake Bay bridges. And it's about like 15 miles of bridges. Costs you about $16 in tolls to go over top of it. And it would take me what would normally take me about 4.5 hours going up 81 and then down into DC and then around to Annapolis and then down there. It would take me about 4.5 hours. If I were to go and take the Chesapeake Bay way, it would take me like 5.5 hours to do that. But I would do that instead of having to go on the Beltway, because the Beltway is it's fucking madness. If you go there in any peak time, the ideal time to go over the Beltway would be like 11 p.m. at night. Because if you're doing anything like in and around between 4 and 9 p.m., 4 a.m. and 9 p.m., you're going to be looking at just some of the worst fucking traffic. And people driving like they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, rich motherfuckers with expensive cars that are not, there's no, it's just crazy because you'll see people cutting in and cutting out of traffic and all this other shit. And then you'll have these things where there's the traffic backlog and it'll be like that 5 mile an hour, 60 mile an hour shit where it pulses, because the whole thing will start moving and then everybody just starts going like 60, 70 miles an hour. And then a mile down the road, it all slows down to a crawl. And then it goes and it comes back and it goes and comes back. It's just fucking, it's the worst. I would go and pay
when
the
I was driving up,
$16.
I drove way out of my way. I drove through Indiana and up. Like I could have gone. It would have been like an hour shorter to go up through Chicago, but I drove through Indiana. I went way west and up instead of going up to Chicago. Yeah, I didn't want to go to Chicago at all. It was all toll roads anyway, and fucking Google kept saying, "We found a shorter route." And you want to change it, you have to push the thing.
It would keep changing your course, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I hate it when it does that shit, man. I'm like, no, I picked this course.
Well, I was already on this interstate, and it already said stay on this for 100 and blah 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 miles. So it wasn't like a big rush to get off, but it was like you had to push no thanks if you didn't want to change courses. And it's like, bitch, I'm trying to drive, and you're making me push no thanks. Like, but
no, I had actually had it happen to me a couple of Labor Days ago, where I went up to my brother's in Charlottesville, and we were going up there on Labor Day weekend. So on top of all the 18-wheeler trucks you got all the vacation traffic going up and down the road. So it's like bumper to bumper, but all moving at the right speed. And so we decided on the way back, there's a different way you can come back to Roanoke from Charlottesville. What you do is you go south on 64 and then over on 460 at Lynchburg. Yes, we have a Lynchburg. And so it's where Jerry Falwell's university resides, and it is called Lynchburg. But I was trying to get out of Charlottesville, and I used to live there like back in 2000, but I'd completely forgotten how to get in and out of there. And I was using the GPS to have it take me to 64 South, but it kept redirecting me to take 64 to 81. Even when I pushed no thanks on it, and I was about ready to take my fucking phone and wing that motherfucker out the window. Because it kept directing me the wrong way, and I'm like, fine, I'll just go by signs. And then eventually, when I'm far enough into it, you'll understand that I'm going this way.
Right. The only good thing about the Google was it would be like speed trap ahead, and you slow down, and then you see a cop. You're like, all right. That was the only good thing about the Google thing.
Or let you know that there's construction. We kind of had to do the same thing, too, when we were going because we'd take trips up to New Hampshire from here. And there's 2 ways you can go up through there. Like, you basically go all the way up into Pennsylvania, and then you bang over to Hartford, Connecticut. And you just barely
bang over?
Bang on over to Hartford. Which back in the 80s and 90s, Hartford was fucking awful. It was rife with fucking construction. But the last few times I've gone through there, it's a lot better than it used to be. But the other way to go up through is instead of going up into Pennsylvania and over to Connecticut and then up into New Hampshire, you could go the New Jersey way, but then you're paying like fucking $25 in tolls. And you might contend with a little overflow from New York City because you're just basically going around it. And we would never do that. We do the Pennsylvania route. That and my parents like to stop in Schuylkill.
Well, that's what I was just going to say that, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to ignore what you just said. I took a mental note. You said something about schools, somebody killed somebody in. Well, I just wanted to get out real quick that on the way up, Tuesday night, It was very nice. There was no traffic. There was a couple spots that were like it was shut down to one lane, but then on the way back, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
People that don't know how to fucking
it's getting
drive.
like that in some of the main cities. Like the last
What
two
did you
times
say?
I've been through Richmond. Schoolie Kill. Schuylkill.
Schoolie killed.
It's a town in Pennsylvania.
This fucking thing, I swear to God.
What's wrong? What's the matter?
Don't know. There's been.
Can you not hear me?
I can hear you, but there's like flashes of shit. Like my whole screen will just fucking. It's happened a few times. I didn't want to say anything.
So your computer's dying?
No, it's plugged in.
Do you think you might have malware on your computer or something?
No.
Interrupting your video function. Okay.
No.
Anyway, Schoolie Kill or Schuylkill, as it's properly pronounced, is a town just outside of Wilkes-Barre.
Schoolie Killer? What?
It's called Schuylkill. But if you look at it, it looks like it says Schoolie Kill is the name of the town. I think it's in and around there where Shane just stated. No, I thought it might be my headphones because they're Bluetooth. Notice how there's no, like, wire coming down from my leg to,
No, dude, that's not. It's the whole screen will flash for a second.
Okay. Is it taking screen grabs?
Not just your not just your side. The whole screen will just flash.
Maybe
it's freaking me out. It's happened a few times. I'm trying to react. Huh?
Think maybe you're going through menopause or something? You're getting like flashes and the night sweats and the terrors and
That's probably what it is. I'm sure that's what it is.
Well, I'm sure this part of the podcast is really interesting for people to hear us talk about routes that we get places at,
You're the one that's been talking about it for 20 minutes.
Well, fucking direct the fucking conversation then, podcaster.
I'm not
what
even.
Do you want to talk about?
I thought I was even doing that. I don't even care about that at all. I don't care about that.
I don't care.
I don't.
Neener, neener, neener.
Neener, 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 neener. How long is it going now? Do you know?
I don't care. I don't care about none of it. No how. Nobody.
I don't give a fuck about none of it. I don't give a fuck about none of that.
Oh yeah, listen to the fucking Santino and Tommy Buns one. That was pretty good.
Well, I planned on it.
You planned on it. You didn't do it. You had better shit to do, and you don't care.
No, whatever, dude. Fuck you.
We gotta curb this toot of yours, man. It's gonna be hard, If you're gonna mend these fences with all these folks, you gotta,
I tried to watch it with you, and you kept talking over it and switching. I'm trying to watch it.
I wasn't talking over it. You were.
Okay.
All right. I bet I'll do this at the movie
I feel
theater.
like you're trying to get me to be angry, talking about my
I'm not.
or whatever.
I'm just saying, you attract more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Am I being vinegary?
They're a little spicy.
No, I was just trying to tell you about this weird thing that keeps happening to my screen. That it's been happening this whole time. What?
So what's on your phone?
What's on my phone?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't touched. My phone's been over here.
Oh, you're writing. You're making notes. Okay.
I'm writing. Look.
Mhm. Cool.
I'm making notes, and I just scribbled out this.
Of course, I haven't listened to Pete Holmes in about 3 or 4 years. He and his girl had a kid, and he's kind of like, after the whole crashing thing, he's kind of, the comedy stuff taking kind of a back seat.
I liked Crashing. Like, when I saw Bill Burr in Crashing, that made me so happy. I loved it so much.
Did you see Nia on there, too?
Huh?
His wife, Nia?
Yeah.
His wife, Nia?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's what I asked you. You non-communicative motherfucker.
How would I watch that episode with Bill and not see Nia?
Because there's one without his wife on it that he's on as well. Yeah. And you don't like Sarah Silverman. That much is apparent.
No, I do like her, and I watched her show quite a bit too.
Yeah, her show was fucking excellent. And then they had Brian Posehn and what's that other fellow's name? Steve Agee as the.
You mean I Love America? That's the show I'm talking about. Is I Love America.
Oh no, I was talking about her sitcom.
No, I did not watch that. That was before my time.
Pretty good. It's not before your time. It's 2007 or 8.
Before my time.
Before my time.
Before my time, I was too young.
Before my time. Because I never found comedy until exactly 8 months ago. And then I watched it all.
So you said your first comedian was like Richard Pryor and Bill Cosby. Yeah,
and George Carlin. And then, of course, all the old shit. You know, Abbott and Costello, Sid Caesar's, Your Show of Shows, Bob Hope, Steve Martin, all sorts of that stuff.
Did you like Kids in the Hall?
Fucking love Kids in the Hall, man. They're some of my favorites.
Monty Python?
Oh, yeah, Monty Python. I would watch that when I would also watch Doctor Who on PBS. Because they'd actually show shit late at night. Full Monty Python episodes. There'd even be nudity in there.
No.
And Fawlty Towers as well. If you'd never seen Fawlty Towers,
I know about it. I have seen clips, but I need to check that out too.
Well, there's only 8 episodes.
Okay. Well, that's easy.
Over 2 seasons. So it's very short watch, but it's legendary stuff. And I got into some more of the British stuff, but that was much later.
What's the one, there's like, I want to say the guy's name was Dan or Dave. And then there's like the fat blonde guy. It was like a skit show with just those 2 guys, and they would play. I
know exactly who you're talking about. It's called Little Britain.
Yes, yes.
And it was Matt Lucas, and I'm blanking on the other dude's name. David something or other.
Right.
No, my ex-wife found them, and we started watching it religiously. It's hilarious.
But didn't he do something recently, like not the chubby
Yeah, there was
guy.
something that was getting them canceled off of it, and it might have been due to that show because it was before all of this controversy stuff.
Well, like the chubby guy was in that one movie with Rebel Wilson. What was it? Yeah. Was it Bridesmaids?
I don't know.
I think
he's been in a lot of stuff. He's very funny. I actually follow him on Twitter. He's hilarious.
Really?
He used to have this character on Little Britain called the Village Gay. And he'd be sitting in the pub, and he'd be wearing like this fucking neoprene suit, and he'd have like his blonde hair done. He's like, well, as the Village Gay, I must do this and that and this. It's actually pretty good for its time, but
yeah,
you know, it's like with tweets nowadays. If the shit isn't on perfectly PC, they're gonna get fucking canceled over it.
Right.
What have you, so. But that was real good. I like, there's some other British comedians I like Billy Connolly, Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr's fucking hilarious. He's the one who's got the fucked up laugh. He looks like a...
Yeah, I know who Jimmy Carr is.
Oh, okay, all right. Back it up there, Toodley.
Just saying.
My buddy from Manchester.
I'm trying to do his laugh. Hold on. Does he laugh like that? No, when he really laughs, he's like.
That's his laugh.
No.
For his fucking shizzle it is. He's one of my favorite comedians. He's got the best word economy of any comedian I've ever seen.
Jimmy Carr does?
Jimmy Carr does, yes. He came out to roast battles for the first season with a clipboard. The man's a machine.
I know he does the ha 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 laugh, but when he really laughs,
ha, ha, ha.
When he really laughs, it's like, it's weird. Maybe I probably wasn't doing it right.
Well, anyway, as I was saying, my friend from Manchester hates his guts because of that whole like tax haven shit that he got in trouble with in 2014 or whatever. And I'm like, but you still haven't seen his hands. He's like, I won't watch it. I don't like what he represents. And I'm like, all right, well.
Can I ask you, do you remember, it was like maybe a couple years after Shaun of the Dead came out, they had a show. Simon Pegg and...
Yeah, it's called Space.
Pretty much Space.
And Nick Frost. Yeah, it's a good show. It's very 2000.
And the girl that played Debbie or whatever, Spaced?
I forget what her name is. It's Catherine something. But if you're looking for a good, like, comedic British shows to watch, I can rattle off a few that you should like.
I mean, what was the one with the fucking two weirdos that was on Comedy Central all the time? The two weird ladies.
Two weird ladies. Don't know.
Yeah.
But another show, if you want to watch it, another British show.
When South Park first came out. God, you don't see that?
Black Books.
You don't see that? You didn't see the whole screen just light up?
No. Did not. Maybe your connection's loose inside your laptop.
No, it's a brand new laptop.
You shut it? It's brand new? Okay. I don't know then. The only thing I can recommend, if it is malware.
Absolutely Fabulous.
What? Absolutely Fabulous. Okay, yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. I wasn't crazy about it, but I've known about
What's the other one? There was another one though with the
Oh boy.
Oh, God.
I can hear the gears churning. Well, you see, they had. All right, if you want good British shows to watch, there's one from the 80s called The Young Ones, who the lady from Absolutely Fabulous, Jennifer Saunders, she was on that a few times. And then the other one I was trying to tell you about is this one called Black Books. And that's from around about the same time as The Space. Black
One more time? Black Book?
Black Books.
Black Books. I think I've heard of that.
Yeah. Well, it's about this drunken Irish fellow who owns a bookstore, and they race all his customers. It's good, but again, sometimes I worry about recommending stuff to people because, like, say my buddy Grayson, I recommended Matt Bronger's special to him, Shovel Fighter, and he said he didn't find that guy funny at all. And I'm like, all right, well, we just don't see eye to eye then. Because Matt Bronger is as funny as you want to get. Have you heard his new shit? It's fucking awesome. He's talking about the old 40-year-old guy at the bar. Shit, you would ask me that.
The newest one? I'll find it. Matt Broniger?
Well, his old one. Yeah, his old one. Oh, it's called Please Hold Me.
Please Hold Me?
Yeah, it's called Please Hold Me. Here, I'll play a little clipper here.
Mm-hmm. You don't remember the other show that was on around the time Absolutely Fabulous was? It was like this older couple. It was kind of like an Archie Bunker kind of situation, but...
Archie Bunker type situation.
But it was British. It was on BBC.
It was British. It was on BBC. I don't know. I can't think of what
it was around that time. Like, the... Fuck.
Well, I know there's like
picture the man. I can't picture any of the women at all. But it was like a show that my grandma loved.
It's very,
and I didn't get it. I was too little.
The only old show that I watched that was from BBC that they would play on PBS was this one called Are You Being Served? And it was all these people in a fucking department store and all of their little things. And usually it was a farce. So like one character knows something that they're trying to keep from the other character, and it was kind of like, you know, bullshit. But hey,
if you want some real mean fun, go to a dad rock concert. Go see Bruce Springsteen and look inside the medical tent. You will see guys in their 40s and older who smoked for the first time in 20 years and don't realize how loud the loud has gotten. And they all think they're having heart attacks and strokes, and they're not. So you can laugh at them. I'm talking alpha males, like football coaches. Like, this is not a normal heart rate. Why did I smoke that hippie cigarette? Get your hands on me, Marjorie. I'm dying. Hey!
But one of his jokes from Shovel Fighter, I can't ever not think about it, is the Lonely Man Meals thing. Have you ever heard that one?
No.
Okay. But if you are worried about it being, hold on, my keyboard's fucked up. Quit ashing in your keyboard, dumbass.
I'm not.
I'm talking to me.
I know.
So don't get upset. Why does it keep pushing Q? Stop pushing Q.
I'm not getting upset. Why are you?
No, it's my keyboard. It's fucked off. Because I'm a slob. Lonely Man Meals. What, did I spell some shit in there? God damn it. I'm gonna have to fucking clean this damn thing.
Birds of a feather? No, it doesn't sound right. It was this
So
family.
I am single and I live alone. Most of you guessed correctly. All right. No, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it because I find a lot of my friends in long-term relationships have become stupider because of them. Right? You know the couple that they join together and they're like their own Wikipedia, like they're both dumb and they won't look it up because it's two people. Right? Where it's like you're like, do they have like pretzels or chips? Well, pretzels are chips. Right, Danny? Yeah, pretzels or chips. I'm not talking, no.
No, that's not the fucking case. Look it up. No.
Like I had a guy literally say to me, so you're single? What do you cook for yourself? Do a lot of cooking? I'm like, yeah, it's not the 50s, dick. Yeah. Step out of an episode of Mad Men? What are you talking about? Right? But I didn't say that because you don't generally like go for confrontation right off the bat because who cares, right? This guy's obviously a jerk. I don't care. I'm not going to change him, right? I'm not going to grab the bull by the horns. So I just did a dumb joke and at least tried to say, well, eat a lot of hungry man dinners. Huh? I don't, right? But I tried to say that. But God or life or whatever pulled an amazing prank, and I did a perfect Freudian slip and accidentally said, well, I eat a lot of lonely man dinners. What? Lonely man dinners is what I said that I eat. Lonely man dinners. And I had to pause because I do eat a lot of lonely man dinners. Not TV dinners, but TV dinners should literally be called lonely man dinners. That's all they are. Like, I want to see the ad for Lonely Man brand TV dinners. Just a lumberjack in his cabin by himself, looking out the window of the future he'll never have. A single tear running in his rapidly graying beard. He's like 32, not even old enough. And the theme song kicks in. No need to open the can. Grab yourself a lonely man. And then a faraway shot of the cabin and a single gunshot.
That's before he got married.
All right, I'll watch that. Matt Barnegat, right?
Yeah, but that's his old album from like, I want to say 2015, 2014. His new one's called Please Hold Me.
The show I was talking about was Keeping Up Appearances.
Okay, never seen it.
Never seen it?
Never seen it.
That was like
There's
my
also another popular one
show.
called EastEnders that I've never seen. There's also one called Father Ted that I've never seen. that are.
EastEnders is. I think I got into this. That's like the teenage boys, right? EastEnders.
No.
I think they made a movie.
You're thinking of a different thing. This is a series that's been on British public television for like 30 plus years.
Okay, yeah.
And you're thinking of The Outsiders, I think. The movie
Probably.
from the 80s. Yeah. Which
And then there's one called
about.
Misfits, I think, where they had, it was like they got superhero powers.
Oh yeah,
like it was
I
a bunch
that.
of the Misfits.
It was kind of like their take on our heroes.
Yeah.
Where everybody in the world, but like 10%
And the first
of
two
them
seasons
got
were
special
amazing,
powers.
and then they didn't know what to do with it, and it ended horribly.
Right.
But
well, that's where that cat from Game of Thrones came from. The guy who was the asshole who fed people to their to his dogs and shit. Yeah.
And also, like, did you ever watch what's the one? It was like Seth Rogen was a part of it. Preacher?
Preacher. No, I never watched that one. Oh,
it was
Preacher.
on FX. Preacher?
Oh, I love Preacher. And you know, all those motherfuckers are British.
Are they? Well, the vampire and Preacher was in Misfits, and he I had already fallen. He was my favorite character from that show.
Right. No, the first season of Preacher is awesome. Then as it gets on, it gets starts to lose a little bit.
Yeah.
They get away from the actual graphic novel that it came from. But that guy who plays the Preacher, British as fuck. When you hear him talk in an interview, you're like, whoa, you can affect such a great Louisiana accent. Same with a woman, Rose, totally British. That's like if you watch The Wire, Idris Elba and the guy who led it, the guy who played McNulty, both British actors.
Did you watch Luther?
I watched Luther. Whole kit and caboodle. Love Luther. Fucking great show.
That's what people will talk about Idris Elba, and I'm like, if you haven't watched Luther, you don't know shit about Idris Elba.
Well, it's amazing that people in England can still survive with that many serial killers running around. It's kind of like Angela Lansbury in Murder, She Wrote. I mean, was she killing everybody? I mean, how can so much death happen in one square area and it not being a problem that's dealt with by more than just one homicide detective?
Well, I was going to say something about the guy that was in Preacher but I wasn't sure.
It's Dominic something.
Dominic
That's the name
Cooper,
of the guy who plays Cooper, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he played in a
Rose
movie.
Fucking fine.
Where he played both of Saddam Hussein's sons.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
That's the first thing I saw him in. I'm trying to find the fucking name of the movie.
Have you watched any of the Peaky Blinders?
No.
Don't care for it?
No, they don't care for it. I just never. I just never gave it time. I got into podcasts and I stopped watching TV.
Well, for me, I have this one weird hobby, and it's just I read all I can about mafia stuff. So I've got a whole shit potload of books. One's about the 5 families in New York, one's about the Irish mob. I mean, and so I started getting into actual the British mafia. There's this couple of twins called the Krays who ran the London Underground for 3 decades. And one of them was a hothead, and the other one was the mastermind guy. But they were twins called the Krays. They actually. No, this is actually happened. Peaky Blinders is fictitious. Peaky Blinders is fictitious, but it's got some loose basing on, because they were based out of Aberdeen. No, that's Scotland. It's a town in England that starts with an A. Can't fucking remember. My brain's vaporized from drinking too much over the weekend. Oh man, yeah, Peaky Blinders is real good. And the best part about those British shows is there's not a shit pile of episodes. So you go to season, maybe it's
they know when to cut it off.
Yeah.
Most
Instead
of
of having like 22 fucking episodes a season, and then you don't know it all runs together. That was funny too. They were talking about, who was it? It might have been a Gas Digital show, but they were talking about how nobody actually watches The Office. It's just on, and they put it on to go to sleep. I'm like, I watched all the seasons of The Office, the UK one and the American one. And what was the other one? Oh man, that Carl Pilkington stuff. Is Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, and one of the guys on their show, he's this real dunderhead, this guy named Carl Pilkington, and he's very set in his ways. And so they send him out to different places in the world so they can
an Idiot Abroad.
It through him. Idiot Abroad, yeah. It's fucking good shit. So you've seen that, I take it. Okay. I also had a good one that he just came out with recently, Ricky Gervais did, called Afterlife, but had more of a personal thing for me.
My mom got into that show. I told her to watch it, and she loved it.
It's kind of a weepy show, so, you know.
Yeah.
It's like more about, you know, it's more about connections and going through life and dealing with shit and all that other stuff. So it's not exactly a comedy show, but that's pretty good.
Well, I was going to say about Dominic Cooper, like, the movie's called The Devil's Double.
The Devil?
The Devil's Double.
The Devil Dabble.
The Devil's Double.
The Double.
And I guess one of Saddam Hussein's sons dies, and he's hired to play his, like, the one that's still alive.
Oh, that's where the double comes in.
No, I mean, the devil is the fucking fucked up shit that Saddam Hussein and his son did. But
so
it's like he's just a regular guy that's hired because he looks like Saddam Hussein's son. He's hired to be his double, and it's a really good movie. That's the first time I ever saw Dominic Cooper.
The devil is in the doubles.
I think we should probably end it here.
Okay. So the devil's in the details, not the doubles.
Well, you're acting like I'm talking nonsense. You really never watched Keeping Up Appearances ever?
No.
There's a movie called Saving Grace.
Saving Grace.
I have written down a whole list of shit that you told me to watch.
Sure.
Write down this movie. It's called Saving Grace. Have you seen it?
I've seen I've seen State of Grace.
Saving Grace.
Okay. Saving
It's a very good movie. It's a British movie, and it's very, very good. It's about this old lady that grows weed.
And she needs to be saved.
No.
Okay. I got one more. If you've never seen them, I've got 3 of them actually.
3 more?
By a guy who used to be married to Madonna by the name of Guy Ritchie.
I know who Guy Ritchie is.
So have you seen his movies?
I haven't seen the newest one.
Two Smoking Barrels.
Yes, I know all.
Snatch.
What's the Gentleman? The Gentleman is the new one, right?
Yes.
I have not watched that yet.
If you can handle McConaughey, he can be a little bit
overbearing
at times. Okay, well then you're in good luck. And Hugh Grant steals the fucking show. And it's also got Jax from Sons of Anarchy.
Charlie.
Hutton, something. I don't know.
Something with an H.
He's actually he's from Newcastle. You can believe it. His American accent is not very good. I can say that after watching 6 or 7 seasons
all of Sons of Anarchy. I kept watching it even though I was like sick of it by like, what was it, 7 seasons?
Yeah. Well, I kind of got pissed off when they killed what's his nuts, the guy with the hair, like Jax's closest buddy there.
Opie?
One with the long Opie. Yeah, when they killed off Opie, that kind of pissed me off. So
yeah,
it's like in The Wire when they killed off Bodie for no reason. Just fucking. Oh yeah, spoiler alert, Bodhi dies. So,
yeah, I watched The Wire.
Okay. Well, I don't ever try to make people watch stuff, because if you try to push them in the direction, they'll push back the other way. Just not ever do it.
Can I tell you what where Sons of Anarchy lost me is when Juice, when the fucking black sheriff got involved, and then he's like bribing him because he's not white. You fucking know he's not white. Why would why would it matter? It was so dumb.
Well, that's just how
he's not white.
Motorcycle club culture used to be. It may not be anymore.
I get it.
But that's the way the culture used to be.
After everything he did, though, this is like the 4th or 5th season. After everything he's done for the fucking club,
it was a plot. It was a plot device, and they overused it. That I will grant you. But that's just the way that culture used to be. Is like, if you're black or Puerto Rican, you're out on your fucking ass, because that's not how they roll. And it used to be just dudes. The whole start of that culture was just dudes back from the war with nothing better to do. So they got on fucking motorcycles and caused fucking problems. And then they realized it could be lucrative in distributing drugs. And then that's where that whole thing came in. But I mean, you imagine as much shit happened. And what was the name of that town they were in? Sunshine or Sunnyvale or Pleasant? What was the name of that town they were in? But if that many people fucking died in a small town like that, you don't think that the fucking feds and the CIA would be all over that thing? I did like how they used they had the preacher from Deadwood in there as the FBI agent that was all creepy-fied. I like that bit.
Yeah.
And that's where old Maggie Siff came from, too. The one on Billions there. The one that kissed your boy, Danny.
I haven't watched
Danny
Billions.
Oh, you should watch Billions. That's good. That's good. What's that other one? Succession's really good. But it's not like laughing comedy shit. It's more like, drama. But, who knows?
It's so funny. You said Outsiders. I was trying to find the show. It's called Outsiders, and the guy, the Opie guy, he's in it.
Yeah. Well, the reason I said it was because on the last Kelly and Calta, they were putting up an image of it, and they were trying to see who their person would be like most in the cast of Outsiders, the movie from the early 80s, the one that's got Swayze.
Yeah, I know.
Matthew, whatever his fucking name was, and Tom Cruise and everything.
Right.
And then they had somebody come in who'd never seen it and has no reference point for any of it. It was Bull. It was the young Bull.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he's like, I don't know what you would be
that
like.
Was a good episode. Shane was giving Calta shit.
Oh,
that
he was
really
fucking hammering on him. And Calta's funny too, man. Because I like how he fucking unloads on Kelly. Because Kelly's always just like blasting motherfuckers left and right. And then fucking Calta comes in and just fucking snipes him from the rooftop. Just, it's really good shit.
Well, so the things like Saturday nights they do a jerk off party if you're in the Patreon, and
right.
I was hanging out with my niece last night.
There's gonna be my Sirius is going bye-bye. I had to remove myself from Matt and Shane's $1 Patreon, and so my Sirius is going bye-bye because they charged me for July after the 3 free months. And I was like, oh, no, that can't happen anymore. Not at least until I get working again, because I don't have any money going out. So, but go ahead.
We were talking about Outsiders, and you said that was the English show with the teenagers. And I think that's true. But the one I'm talking about is a show that was on FX a couple years ago, and it's about a mountain in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. With these people, like mountain people, are fucking. I can't even say rednecks. They're like
hillbillies.
No, they live like it's 100 years ago. They live on this mountain. I mean, you could say
like
it's
how
more,
Dolly
it's
Parton
more
grew
than
up
Hillbillies. It's a
in the
really good
Smoky
show.
Mountains of Tennessee.
It's a really,
I
really
think
good
I might have watched a few episodes of it and wasn't too. I think I know which one you're talking about.
But Opie, Opie guy, and then what's the guy? Other fucking dude. I want to say it's another guy that no.
Okay.
They got a really good cast.
Did you ever watch Justified?
Yeah, I watched Justified.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Matt McCusker reminds me of Timothy Oliphant all the time.
He does, except like a blonde Timothy Oliphant.
A gray.
Well, gray Timothy Oliphant. Dude, I just watched something with him in it. What was it? Oh, fuck. It was a movie. Oh,
Kevin Smith in it?
Oh, no. I know what it was. It was the wrong girl or something. And it's this one where, what was it? The wrong something. Girl's name. And like he meets this girl on a blind date. And it's that Lauren Lapkus chick. I think she's entirely crazy. Like he's trying to escape the bathroom. And she comes in and looks under his stall. Hold on.
Do you watch the one that I'm talking about with Kevin Smith?
Which one is that?
Cast. Something about fishing.
I've watched a lot of.
It has Jennifer Garner.
Jersey Girl. Right?
Jersey Girl. I thought that was Ben Affleck.
It was. That was called The Wrong Missy. That's a good one. It's got David Spade and Lauren Lapkus in it.
Oh, this one is called Catch and Release. And it's Timothy Oliphant, Jennifer Garner, Kevin Smith, and I don't know who the other guy is, but it's a really good movie.
Catch and Release. When did that come out?
2006.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that one. No, because there was like Jersey Girl. There was
Timothy Oliphant was in I Am Number 4? The fuck?
Yeah.
They never made another one of those, did they?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I Am Number 4?
Nope.
The Girl Next Door?
I'm number 2. I've seen The Girl Next Door. He plays like a pornographer in it. That's pretty
Did you watch the Santa Clarita Diet with him and
No, I didn't. Drew Barrymore.
It was so bad.
Where she's like a zombie or something.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Ash versus Evil Dead. Like I watched the first season doggedly, and then they came out with 2 more seasons, and I didn't bother.
I got 2 episodes into the second season, and I started watching.
Oh, I did this. I think it was like Friday or Saturday, but I went back to the Zach Amico stuff, the spook show, because I was going to see if he's going to post that August Underground one. He said he wasn't going to post it because it's like it's fraught
His
with
movie?
like no, the August Underground,
the one that they played Friday,
the nipple cut one, the poop rubbed in the nipple cut
from last. Okay.
The one after Zapped and the one before the one we just watched Friday, which was Ice Cream Man. It had Ron Howard's brother in it. He plays a creepy ice cream man who, it's all just weird. It's not a very good movie. But I was just looking back through to see if he'd post it, and he did. Even though, like, the cover band's playing a Korn song, and he is worried about it, possibly coming up flagged, even though it's behind a paywall and whatnot. But I went back a few episodes before they'd gone into quarantine, and they did Evil Dead. And so I sat and watched that there with them. That was pretty good, because I hadn't seen that one in a long time. Because I watched the remake that they did in 2014, and that was pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Sam Raimi fan.
They did a bunch of I think I've watched all of them.
All righty. Well, this looks like probably a good stopping point, maybe.
Yeah, I gotta pee and I gotta let my dog out to pee.
All right. Well, let the fluid flow.
Well, thank you for hanging out with me.
No problem.
Awesome.
You might want to edit this one a little bit so there's not huge spaces in the middle where we're not doing anything but looking at stuff.
Do you feel like you've said anything that you need to?
Nope, I'm fine.
So you're okay with me posting any?
Sure, go right ahead. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
And this is just so people can get to know C-Dumps a little better, so they might listen to her a little more.
I'm not trying to get famous, dude. I just want to hang out.
No, not famous. Just to get to know you a little bit better, so it's not just like, oh, this sucks, I'm out, bye. You know. Keep at it.
Well, yeah, okay.
Work on structure.
Well, you've made it very clear that I'm an asshole that just starts problems with everybody.
Well, you know, and I'm an asshole that will also do the same thing.
All right. Well, that's why we're friends, I guess.
It's about mending. It's about bringing us together. It's about making things right. We can do this. We can do it.
Watch that movie, okay? Or like maybe we can watch it together.
Graving Face. Yes.
Yep. That's what it's called. All right.
Peace
Good night.
out, y'all.